Hello. Hello, my name is Cindy, and thank you for coming to my channel. And I appreciate you clicking on this video. And this video is going to be all about doing trials for VIPKid. And when I first started, I did not do a lot of trials, and it was advertised from the company that if you do trials and you convert the trials, you get an extra $5 for that class. And that was a really good incentive to want to do trials, but you weren't always in control of whether you got trials or not. And that's the way it was when I first started, and I hardly ever got trials. But then I had some other friends that had started with the company, and they got lots of trials. And I was like, I want to try it. I want to try the trials. Well, eventually, what I did was I wanted the trials. I wanted to try to see if I could bring the smiles to the trials and get that extra $5 incentive. So what I did was, since I was sort of booking up with a lot of regulars, I would keep my, try to get the regulars to book during the week and get the priority bookings and stuff. And then on Frenzy night, for a couple of weeks, I just left my slots closed so that I could open short notice during the week. And when I opened short notice, I started getting more trials. And because a lot of times when you have short notice slots open, they will book with trials. And so that's how I got a few extra trials to do. And then after I got a few done, then I kept getting booked for trials. So that's how I did it. If you would like to get trials and you're not getting trials right now, you could try leaving a few slots closed and then open them short notice during the week. And another thing I noticed is that a lot of times trials will open like on a Friday night or Saturday night. So if you're the type of person that you can work during the night, you might want to open slots for those times as well. Usually I teach regular hours, like I'm Eastern, so I'll teach like from 5:30 a.m. to 9 o'clock a.m. But if you want to open up those evening slots when it's daytime in China, then that might work for you to get some trials. Now, I really like the trials. I know that some people do not like trials because what can happen with trials is they can book and then they can just not show up. So even this past week, I had a few trials that didn't show up, so then you only get half pay. But if you're doing those with short notice, it's half pay of $12, right? So I don't know. Last week I taught 5 trials and like 3 of them did not show up. Maybe it was 2. It wasn't half of them. So some of them did not show up, but then I did have one that converted. So doing trials, you get the extra $5. You might get half pay, but you also might get a new student and you get new bookings and new students in there. So what do we do when we do trials? Like, what should we keep in mind when we have trials coming up? First of all, keep in mind that you want to be happy. You want to realize that this could be their first exposure to VIPKid. So you can say, welcome to VIPKid at the very beginning, just to welcome them to your classroom, welcome them to the company, and then you want to be as happy as you can be, like even more than you are for your regular students. And you want to be flexible because Another thing that can happen with trials is they can switch. Like you could be all set to do one trial and then you turn on the camera and it can switch and you're into a different trial. And so you have to be ready to switch and just keep a good attitude and don't be fazed by it. Don't sit there going, okay, now what do I do? Just run with it. The other thing is right now is there are a lot of new trials. So a lot of people, a lot of the new trials are coming out. I taught a trial last week I had never seen before. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And they're interactive. And sometimes you don't know exactly what buttons to even push. But if you act like you know what you're doing, the student has no idea because, like I said, it's their first time. So they don't have any idea what it's supposed to be like. So you just run the show, do the best you can, smile, and have a good attitude, and you'll be surprised how well your class will go. Some people do not like to do trials just for that reason, because they don't want to be surprised to what the content is going to be. So I don't really mind. I kind of like the challenge and I go with it. Doesn't mean that my trials always go amazingly, but I do the best I can. I smile, I try to have a good attitude, and I try to make sure that the child is interacting. And so you need to make this a fun and engaging class, even more than you would a regular class. You just want to make sure they have fun, make sure they engage with you, and try to look at the student as you're pulling them into your classroom, trying to get them to participate, but just trying to connect with them more than anything else in that lesson. More than just teaching, you're trying to connect with that student. You also want to make sure that student is putting out some good, has some good output. That's what the parents are looking for. Is my student going to be talking? Is my student going to interact with the teacher? Is the teacher going to bring it out of my student? So keep that in mind. What are some techniques that you need for trial classes? Well, first of all, you want the kids to play along and you want them to have fun. So I have had classes where the student is just sitting there on the couch watching a TV show. They might not realize, hey, this teacher wants me to talk to them. So you need to kind of pull it out, or they might be really shy and they don't want to talk. So you have to try to reach them to be able to talk, and that's what the parents are looking for. You want to be nice, obviously, really nice, extra nice. And you also want to be, you could use a singing voice, like for the little kids. Sometimes I'll be like, I see a ball. Instead of just saying the words, you might want to sing the words, and you might bring them in that way. A lot of these Chinese students do love to sing, and I've seen that reach a lot of kids. You can call the student to join in to sing with you. You can cup your ear and just wait a lot because, so they get the idea. You can just have a lot of patience with your students. You don't really know what they're going to do. And sometimes they run away, they come back. When they're really young, their attention span might not be that long. I've had students where their attention span isn't very long, but their parent wants the whole 25 minutes. I'm thinking after 15, this kid has had enough and he's ready to go, but the parent wants to enjoy the whole 25 minutes. So then you need to think of ways to continue to bring the child in. So some of the props that I have for trials, I keep right next to me because I don't know which ones I'm actually going to have. The really little kids will do a few different trials that have an apple. I see a red apple. And there's also a ball. So I have this ball handy all the time. And it can be a blue ball. It can be Earth. It can be a world. It can be a map. I can show them where I live and that kind of stuff. And I also always have bananas. Always have bananas. bananas always come in handy. So I have a drawer right here that has my apples, my balls, my bananas. I have a few different types. And I also have some animals. These from the Good Fortune box the last time are really cute. And these can also double as colors. You know, you can ask the kids colors. And you know, some kids, they get on there and they can talk really well. So then you need some extra extension things. So what you're going to do when you first get into a trial is you're going to evaluate the student. So you might have a little kid and the kid doesn't want to talk, and then you have to pull them out. Now, I had a trial just last week that the camera was open. The parents were both there. I could hear both their voices. The kid was crying. And so I didn't know what to do. Like, should I just go through the lesson? They can watch it later. I have kids of my own, so I understand crying kids. I wasn't embarrassed or anything. I know the parents are trying to do the best they could. So I just kind of went through a few of the slides, tried to talk, tried to bring the kid in, but he wasn't even looking at the camera. So then the parent turned the camera off. It was like 15 minutes or so. And then all of a sudden they were there, and the student was not crying, and the student was ready to go. And so I actually went through the whole trial in the next 10 minutes. And that student could read, he could talk, he had a lot of fun. It was actually a really good trial. And I commend the parents. I know they won't be watching this video, but the parents did a great job to get him back on track and to not give up and to make sure that he actually followed through. And so he did a really great job. But sometimes you really don't know. Does he want to talk? Is he scared of the video? Maybe something happened before class you don't know about. So you got to stick with it. Now, when you are in the trial and nobody's showing up, you have 15 minutes and you can sign off. But if somebody shows up at the beginning of the trial, then you have to stay there for the whole time. So what I usually do is I will use my iPad. Well, no, right now I'm using my iPad, but I also have, I have on my Cam Twist, I have this slide that I can put in front of my face. So I can do like this. And so you can kind of see me behind here, but I can also click it off right away. And I'm back to class. So that way I have a little privacy while I'm waiting it out. So they're not really seeing me in my classroom, you know, completely. So I made this, and I made a video about how to make an overlay, an image overlay. You can make this on Canva. And then I just kind of make it a little smaller so that you can see me behind the camera. And so it looks like I'm there, but I'm a little bit shielded from everyone. So usually what I'll do is I'll do something on my phone. I might listen to a video like from one of my other teachers. I might make a list of some of the videos I want to do in the future, something like that. But don't be thinking that if nobody shows up at the first 10 minutes that nobody will show up, because I have had people show up at 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Like I said, that one was, I had the kid for like 3 to 5 minutes, and then he showed up toward the end of class to finish the class. So you should be kind of ready to do anything for a trial class. And if you aren't that type of person that you want to, you know, be flexible, then yeah, doing trials is not for you. But I really do love trials. I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge. And I don't really like it if I have a trial and they don't show up. But if I just open a short notice, and if I get paid for half of a short notice trial, then that's better than getting nothing, right? So yeah, so that's the way it's been sometimes. It's like, I'll just open it up. It's better than getting paid nothing, and I get a few dollars. And maybe you'll actually get the trial and you'll actually get a conversion, and that's always a really pleasant surprise. So those are my ideas about trials. Now, if you want more information about trials, you can go to the VIPKid portal, and there is a lot of information about trials and what you can do in trials, how to teach them. And I wouldn't say that I am like the best trial teacher of all, but these are some things that I have learned while I've been doing trials, and I really do enjoy them. I get probably 5 to 6 per week, and I don't always get them to convert, but the conversion depends on whether you were the very first teacher that they had and if they sign up. Like the last conversion I got, I taught at like 7:30 and it said they signed up at 8:15. So they signed up right away after class. Sometimes it's a long time before they actually sign up. You know, it could be a week, or 2 weeks, or a month. So you don't really know when they're actually going to sign up. And I don't know really everything about it, but see, these are some of the things that I learned, and I hope it helps. And if you have a video all about trials, I would love to see your video. And if you have any other ideas that you would like to share with me, go ahead and put it in the chat box. Thank you for watching this video. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate your subscription. And I would love it if you would put a thumbs up for this video and let me know what you think of it also. And keep a lookout for more videos about VIPKid and how to use your iPad for teaching VIPKid, and also how to use your iPad in other ways for rewards and for just showing your students different things. I have some videos on my channel all about different ways to use the iPad for teaching in VIPKid. You can also use it for teaching in other online capacities. So thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.